Hello everybody and welcome. If you're tuning in this week, you can probably tell that it's the same as last week's video. That's because I'm filming both these videos on the same day because I won't have my Monday to film and to do all of those things next week. So I'm getting ready in advance to do that. And what I wanted to talk about was rituals. What is a ritual? Is it witchcraft? Is it chanting? Is it, dancing naked by a fire? Like, there are so many ideas out there, and I'm not going to say any of them are right or wrong, but I want to simplify it for those of you who want to, get into ritual type work, who want to start embracing that side of themselves. I know for myself, I believed in the unseen from a really, really young age, and had my journey of people telling me my head was up in the clouds, and feeling that disconnect between my belief and my reality. And so I wanted to open the door for those of you who are ready to take a step into it, because I want you to know that it's really not overwhelming. It really doesn't have to be difficult, and it can look entirely different every time you do it, and for different people. So without further ado, I'm going to show you some of the things that I do for ritual. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys the space. So the first thing you're going to want is a space to be able to sit, to feel comfortable, maybe in a room where you can close the door and you can kind of keep your own energy to yourself. You want to be able to make the space dark too, because some rituals, while they can be held in the daylight, some are best integrated in the dark. And so the first thing that I have here, it's super simple, I'm just going to show you, is this altar space. So this is like a little mood board that I have that's not finished yet. I have some crystals, my tarot cards, you can ignore my jewelry over in the corner there. I have a spot for my incense, my Palo Santo, and my little spell candle holder. So each ritual I will choose a spell candle and I will light that. So with your spell candles, you don't necessarily need a spell candle. As you can see, I've got a little tea light candle burning here. That is just fine when you're getting started. I used just any candle that I had when I first started doing rituals, in order to bring that element into the ritual. Fire is a super awesome element. You can burn intentions into it, you can cut cords with it, you can do so many things with just a flame, and I think that it really offers a meditative energy as well. I would find myself within my own rituals, stopping and, looking into the candle and then just going into a little meditation, feeling into my body. And, it really invited me to do that. Had that not have been there, I would have just been, looking around the room. So it really brings the energy in. And I recommend when you light that candle, light it with the intention of, while this candle is burning, my energy is focused here on my ritual, on being with myself, on reflection, on whatever that ritual is to be about. And then go ahead and light that candle. Now, I do also like to burn some incense. Incense is super easy to get these days. It can definitely be better than others, but at the moment I've just got a Reiki incense that I've been using, and that seems to do it. I like the smell of it, I like the aura that it creates, and I like to work with my energy centers as well. So those are a few things on that element. If you do want to get into spell candles, I have a couple of places in my area that I can buy them from. Just keep your eyes open. You just want colored candles, basically. So as you can see on this little shelf here, I have all of my decks, some crystals there, but here are the spell candles. So they're all different colors in there. I have a sage stick, I have these little jars, then I also have some little tea lights and some, little crystal chips and different herbs to use for rituals, but with spell candles, each candle has a different meaning. So depending on what you want your ritual to be focused on is what colored candle you should be working with. So you can also put herbs on the side of your candles as well, just by heating up the edge there and then sticking some herbs on. That's a good way to incorporate herbs for the first time if you're not sure how to. I'm definitely only just dabbling with them. Yeah, so what have I covered? I've covered flames, I've covered your incense, I've covered your space. I also have in my space my spare Udi on the ground, a cushion to sit on. I'm on a yoga mat as well so that I can do some stretching and some movement if that's what I feel called to do. Crystals. So a lot of us, I've noticed, even non-spiritual folk in my life already have crystals in their household, and so just learning how to cleanse those, use an incense stick, use Palo Santo, which is this little guy here, or sage. I don't like to use white sage. I'll go into that a little bit later on my channel. I don't use it very often. Just keep in mind, if you're going to use white sage, that it's very much a banishing type of energy. So yes, it clears the space, clears the energy, but it also closes the space for lack of a better word. It gets rid of the negative energy, but it also kind of gets rid of the positive energy as well. So you just want to be cautious of what you're burning and why you're burning it, and just, research the properties. We're super lucky to have the internet at our fingertips these days and to be able to Google all of these things. At one point in time, it was a big chunky grimoire that you had to turn through the pages and find what you were looking for. So we're definitely lucky in that respect. Pick your crystals, cleanse your crystals, set an intention with them, just pop them on your little altar. And your altar doesn't need to be big like this. This is a bookshelf, this is temporary, and it's sideways in order for me to create my altar. I actually want it to be standing in that corner to have my record player on it, but that would mean I have to sacrifice an altar space, which I'm not ready to do because I want to be able to do my rituals, which I do once a fortnight with the new moon and the full moon, which is a great place to start also. If you're unsure of when you should be having rituals, start with the moon. Start with just the full moon once a month. It's easy to commit to. That's how I started, just with the full moon, creating a little ritualistic thing, whether that was go to the beach and meditate and go for a swim, and release all the energy. That can take 10-15 minutes. It doesn't have to be this hour-long thing. But nowadays I will choose a spell candle and I will burn that, and until that candle has burnt all the way down, which takes over an hour, I will be in my space and doing what needs to be done, intuitively led. So the next thing, super important, is a journal. Journaling is super powerful work, and if you don't already journal, please get yourself a journal and start journaling. Particularly if you're interested in this type of work. This type of work is very, very important. You want to be jotting down, what you did during your ritual, what came up, what did you feel, what did you think, what did you smell, what bothered you, did you do a meditation, what popped up in your meditation, what did you dream about last night, how are you feeling, are you overwhelmed? Start writing it down. The journal doesn't need to be neat, it doesn't need to be interpretive, it doesn't need to be doesn't need to make sense. Like it's just a way of getting what is inside out onto paper. Sometimes when we talk out loud, we come to realizations. Sometimes when we're writing on paper, we come to realizations. So I always make it I don't even know the word. Hello? What is it called? A non-negotiable. Like, I make it compulsory that I write in this when I do my rituals. So I used to journal every single day, and I don't often journal every day anymore, but I do every fortnight in here when I do my rituals. And so invest in a journal that makes you feel good too. Like, I found that I tried journaling multiple times throughout my life. It never stuck. It didn't feel good. It didn't make me, I don't know, learn anything. It didn't help me figure anything out until I was bought this beautiful journal from my auntie. That just, it changed the game. So my auntie and uncle bought me this journal with a fountain pen, which has refillable ink in it. And this thing, I had chosen it out, but it changed the game. I owned it for about 3 months. I hadn't written in it because I knew I was traveling to Europe. And on the plane on the way to Europe, I wrote in it for the first time. And basically every day that I was gone, I wrote in this. So your journal becomes a space of like freedom. You can put anything in there. You can do doodles and drawings. There's different things from different places. My handwriting looks different all the time. There's places where I've spilled ink in it. There's places where the pages have ripped, where I've drawn in clay in the pages. Like, this is for you. It's strictly for you. It doesn't need to be interpretive, but get a journal that really makes you feel good when you're writing in it. You know, having this fountain pen and writing with this really made it feel like a ritual every time I did it. Now, while this guy didn't hold up against the hand-pressed pages that are in this book, I did happen to find something else, which is writing in a particular color. So I only use brown pens when it comes to my journals, which is, I guess, a funny quirk, or maybe something weird to some of you, but it is important that you feel good when you're journaling, and that it feels ritualistic, and that you feel like you're expressing a part of yourself. 333 as I look down. So yes, those are the main things that I have to offer. I think that's everything. I don't want to complicate it too much as a first time, you know, as stepping into this space, it can get really overwhelming. Okay, so just to wrap all of that up, you need a space, a candle, any kind, it doesn't have to be a spell candle, incense or a way to cleanse any crystals or tools being used is also an essential aspect. What else did we go through? Journaling is super important, and then having a comfortable space to sit. You don't want to be, you know, stretching or getting a sore back or getting a sore neck whilst you're in your ritual space. Crystals, get yourself some crystals that speak to you, and yeah, don't overcomplicate it. There is nothing that you should or shouldn't be doing in that time. Like, realistically, you don't even need to journal, but I personally think that journaling is a great way to really ground yourself into the space and to be here and in it and with it. Yeah, I think that is all. I definitely would love to run you through some little basic spells as well to do at ritual time, if that's something you guys are interested in. But don't overcomplicate things. The internet is at your fingertips. You can Google it, and just be super mindful what you consume. There are so many accounts out there and, you know, forums and things out there that tell you you need to have moon water, and you need to have this color spell candle, and you need to have this particular crystal in order for the ritual to do X, Y, and Z. That's not true. It's all about intention. By all means, if you want to follow a ritual to the T because that feels aligned to you, go for it. But if you're overwhelmed and you feel like there are too many elements, simple it down, write down. Get yourself a candle from Kmart or the $2 store. I don't know where you're watching this from. Any type of candle, light it with the intention of what you intend to do. Light it in a space where you can be alone, where you're not going to be disturbed. Music, that's something I didn't touch on. You can definitely use, when I first started ritual work, I used frequencies. So depending on what ritual I was doing, I would just jump on Spotify, I would jump on YouTube, and I would look up that particular frequency. I would find one that felt long enough for the time that I was going to be sitting down, and I would hit play. Sometimes I just did ambience. A lot of the time, I'll do rain noises or ocean noises, just something that feels like it grounds me into my space. So yeah, music is definitely one. Grab yourself a crystal. You can get them for a couple of bucks from the $2 stores these days. Just make sure that you're cleansing it with some incense, which you can also get from the $2 store. All of the things that I mentioned in this video can be bought at like Kmart or a $2 store, so it's not an expensive thing either. You can get a candle for $5 that'll last you 10 rituals if you wanted to. You can get a book for $2 that'll last you forever if you're not already journaling every single day. Yeah, so I can definitely go into way more depth when it comes to rituals. Like I said, I do mine for an hour, and there's lots of different elements and tools and things that I use, but that is a great place to begin. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it didn't feel like too much information. I will put down in the description the dot points of what you need and things to remember. And yeah, with that being said, I hope that this has encouraged you to jump into a ritual for yourself, and I hope that it's made you feel empowered in some kind of way, and like you have everything that you need, because you definitely do. We always do. You've got everything you need right now, right here in this moment. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that. Return to this video and comment if it inspired you to do your first ritual, and let me know how it went. I would love to know. Yeah, have the most amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you tenfold. Just hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment something down below that you learnt or that you'd like to hear, and yeah, have an amazing day.